Hello everybody, and thank you for joining me for yet another video. This video is going to be about why did Fenn write The Thrill of the Chase? Simple question, right? Why did Fenn write this? Okay, he wanted to put out a memoir. Or maybe he just wanted some place to publish his poem. Maybe that was it. Maybe he wanted to get the poem out. He had this treasure. He wanted to do it. He wanted to do it in a way that would last and be remembered. So a book was a prime way to do that. Maybe. So if he did do The Thrill of the Chase to get the poem out there in a written format and be able to charge for it, not just post it on the internet, then why did he choose the stories that he did to publish alongside the poem in The Thrill of the Chase? That's a good question, isn't it? So to give you some food for thought, let's go through The Thrill of the Chase a little bit. He starts off telling stories about him being a kid in Texas, growing up. Tales of school, tales of his father, tales of Betsy the cow. And then after all those stories, then he transitions to his stories about West Yellowstone. His family spent every summer in West Yellowstone, and he talks about all kinds of things that happened up there. His brother Skippy, his first job, bathing in the Firehole River. He talks about all this stuff. And he talks about it with humor and passion, like it was just yesterday. After speaking about his Montana, Wyoming, Yellowstone, West Yellowstone experience, he then goes into his story about being in the Air Force. And it's the longest chapter in the book. It is also one that you can tell he is very passionate about. You can also tell that this chapter, this experience in his life, changed him for the rest of his life. He was no longer that little boy in Yellowstone. He was no longer that little boy fishing on the Madison River. He was no longer that little boy getting in trouble. After the War for Me chapter about his Air Force experiences, he then talks about going to Santa Fe with Peggy. He talks about opening an art gallery. And then, after a couple of chapters, there's one chapter with Tea with Olga where he talks about dumping her ashes from his airplane over the Taos Mountains in New Mexico. And now he had never been there before. Then he goes to a chapter called Flywater. If you don't know this by now, Fenn was an avid fisherman. His whole family fished. Actually, in this chapter, you'll see pictures of his family members holding lots and lots of fish, from their fishing experiences on the Madison River, up around Yellowstone, Montana, Wyoming area. You'll see tons of pictures of this. Why? Because these are memories he holds very deep. He remembers the times back here when he was at home with nature and himself. And I think that in and of itself might be a subtle hint that we need to kind of pick up on. He goes from Texas, he goes to Yellowstone, goes to his Air Force experiences, highlighting the Vietnam experiences, to Santa Fe, and then he goes back to Yellowstone, or the West Yellowstone area, that area in general, So what does this mean? He goes right back, mentions Flywater, mentions this area and his avid love for fishing, right before he gives us Golden Moor, which is where the poem is, So what does that mean? Should it mean anything? There's no mention of Colorado in The Thrill of the Chase. There's no special memories. There's no highlights. Not even a passing glimpse. So Fenn has said that there are subtle hints in this book. What are those subtle hints? Should the exclusion of a state mean that that's a hint and we should look there? Should the mention and admiration and passion told about another area be discounted? Or should it be considered a subtle hint? What are we looking for? What are we trying to find in this book? At the very least, you can find Fenn's sense of humor. You can find his informal gestures absolutely divine. At the most, or the least, however you want to think about it, you can see that he was a man who truly loved the outdoors and did what he did for his family and for his country, and how those had effects on him. So, I encourage you, if you haven't already, pick up a copy of The Thrill of the Chase. Read it, front to back. It's a really quick read. Fortunately, unfortunately, he doesn't write as much as he speaks in interviews and things like that, so most of the chapters go by really quick. But think about it. Think about where he was in his mind when he wrote this chapter. What was he thinking about? What was he trying to portray? What was he trying to give to you? What was he trying to help you understand about him? Because not only is the poem going to lead you to the treasure, but Forrest Fenn is going to lead you to the treasure. His stories, his experiences, his memories, his passion, his admiration will lead you to the treasure. You have to get inside Forrest Fenn's mind in order to find this treasure. You can't go on some wild goose egg search and expect to find the treasure. If you don't understand Fenn, then you don't understand how to get the treasure. And that's really as simple as it is. So, I encourage you to go through YouTube. There are so many things where Fenn speaks. On Dow's site, he's got tons of videos of interviews with Fenn. Just listen to him speak. See what he gets passionate about. See what he gets feisty about. See who he is, and see what you can find and uncover. If you really think he's a trickster, if you really think he's trying to pull wool over your eyes and deceive you when trying to find this poem, and there's a whole bunch of stuff we got to figure out in order to do that, then maybe you need to think again. I think it's simple. And I think Forrest Fenn even said that this past year, this year, 2018. I think he said, simplify. And I think we really need to do that. Go back, look at The Thrill of the Chase, take all your preconceptions, throw them out the window, and see what you can pull from this book. So, best of luck in your treasure hunt. Be sure if you find it to let me know where it was, because I'm super nosy and curious. Thank you as always. Please subscribe and like. That's it. Have a good day.